Sunday was tough. Yesterday was weird, tough, frustrating, etc. I have something to say to Michael Bidwill, and I'm going to say it right now.
You are Locked On Cardinals, your daily Arizona Cardinals podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome in, Locked On Cardinals, Tuesday edition. Thank you for making Locked On Cardinals your first listen each and every day, free and available on all platforms. I'm your host, Alex Clancy. You can follow me on Twitter at Clancy's Corner. Follow the podcast at Locked On AC Cards. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel as well. Search Locked On Cardinals. Leave a like on this video. If you want to leave a review, if you want to turn the notifications on, would love that. Thank you for hanging out with me. It's been a tough few weeks. Yesterday, some big things came down, and I'm going to talk about both of them. Hollywood Brown, what was thought to be a season-ending injury from Adam Schefter and Ian Rappaport's initial tweets, were walked back, luckily, to it only being about a 6-week injury that would get him back in December at some point. The Arizona Cardinals traded for Hollywood Brown, or traded for Robbie Anderson. The last time we saw Robbie Anderson, he was screaming in the faces of his coaches on the sidelines at a Carolina Panthers game. He played for the Panthers. He wasn't just in the stands and came down. What does that mean for the Cardinals? What does all of this mean? I'm going to talk about all of it today, and normally I'd lead with that, but I'm going to do things a little bit differently today. First off, today's episode is brought to you by Bird Dogs, the most comfortable shorts, pants, and sweatpants with built-in liners. Go to birddogs.com, use promo code LOCKEDON, and boom, a free Bird Dogs rope hat with your pair of Bird Dogs. I'm going to start it a little differently today. There's been frustration around this fan base pretty much since I moved to Arizona in 2010. Worked in sports radio since 2011, and there's been varying degrees of peaks and valleys. Peaks were great with Bruce Arians. Valleys not so great in 2018. Peaks were great in 2020 and 2021 to the start of the season. Peaks not so great the last part of the last two seasons. And the fan base is split. The fan base has never been more divided. And we're running around in circles, having these debates, having these conversations on Twitter, in person, via podcasts, etc. And the root of all of this is one person, and it's Michael Bidwill. And this is my letter to the editor. This is my imploring him to do better. Because if he doesn't want to, none of this is going to change. And we are going to be living in the same definition of insanity we have pretty much since the inception of the organization. Hi, Michael Bidwill. I'm Alex Clancy. I host Locked On Cardinals. You don't know who I am, and that's fine. I am pleading with you to care more, to do better, to make better decisions and put employees in situations to make better decisions. What we've seen in this organization, take the last decade, it's not good enough. It's not good enough. The fan base, your fan base that you say you care so much about, is divided, arguing with each other about what's wrong, why this is happening. Do you care? Would you have been the owner of a professional football team if it wasn't a family business? Do you care now? I know you just paid Kyler Murray a lot of money, and he deserves it. But you put in the homework clause, the study clause. Was that a power move? Was that just to show dominance? Or do you think it was the right idea? Do you, in your heart of hearts, think Steve Keim is truly the man for the GM job? Are you doing it because he's your friend? Because something doesn't add up, and the definition of insanity is continuing to percolate, not only through State Farm Stadium, but the fan base, the state of Arizona, and every stadium the Arizona Cardinals play in that's not in Arizona. What are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? I hope you do something soon. Because this is your legacy. The fans love this team so much, and you're not doing your job to fulfill what you say you want to and will do. And it's really frustrating. Thank you for listening, and I know you'll never see this. I don't think it's too much to ask for an owner just to be present. It's something that is so frustrating currently. Maybe that was a selfish moment. I just wanted to get that off my chest. I mean, there's just a lot going on, and it seems like the person who should be held the most accountable is never held accountable because we're looking too close to it and we're not looking at it from a bird's eye view. And I don't know, man. But having said all of that, the season is not lost. DeAndre Hopkins is back on Thursday. Like, the Cardinals get a W, we're having a different conversation. It's just compounding things on top of each other in a season where people were expecting growth, and we've seen regression from a lot. Kyler Murray, Kliff, Kingsbury. The defenses look great. All things considered, the defenses look great. Let's put a pause. There's been some very important things that have happened since we talked last. I'm going to hit them. Hollywood Brown's injury, Robbie Anderson being traded here, and a very early look to New Orleans coming into town for Thursday Night Football. Locked On Cardinals, your team every day. I get to talk about, which I'm really excited about, new-ish sponsor. And these people, I've already got my pair, okay? Bird dogs. If you don't know about bird dogs, you should soon. If you already do, then you already know how great they are, okay? So I got some joggers sent to me, and I got some shorts. The shorts are super comfortable. They're not super baggy, and the pants are like super comfortable, like right around for either, if you go to the gym or, if you're living in a cold weather place. I mean, it's going to get to 65 here in Arizona. So I know that people are worried. Get yourself a pair of bird dogs, joggers, sweats, whatever. They got it covered. Okay. They just launched the sweatpants. Okay. As I mentioned, they're super comfortable, but they're like Charmin soft. Okay. It's absolutely wild because I'm not really a sweatpants guy. I put these on. I'm like, yep, these aren't coming off. They're perfect for fall golf. You might not play like Tiger, but if you go out on the course, you don't want to wear shorts. Boom, bird dogs. The joggers are higher quality than Lululemon and $20 less. So what are we talking about here? Go buy some damn bird dogs, right? Go to birddogs.com, enter promo code Locked On, and they'll throw in a free Bird Dogs rope hat. That's birddogs.com, promo code Locked On, and boom, a free Bird Dogs rope hat with your pair of Bird Dogs. The most comfortable shorts, pants, and sweatpants with built-in liners. You will not take these things off. I promise you. And also, friends over, at LinkedIn. Okay. I've talked about LinkedIn a lot. I'll riff on LinkedIn randomly in the middle of a podcast because LinkedIn has been so important to me when I was looking for jobs. Now imagine if you need staff, if you need employees. These days, every new potential hire can feel like a high-stakes wager for your small business. You want to be 100% certain that you have access to the qualified candidates available. That's why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the right people for your team faster and for free. So what you do is, okay, it's super easy to create a free job post on LinkedIn Jobs. So create the post, add your job, and the purple hashtag hiring friends to your LinkedIn profile to spread the word that you're hiring. Simple tools like screening questions make it easy to focus on candidates with just the right skills and experience so you can quickly prioritize who you'd like to interview and hire. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the qualified candidates you want to talk to faster. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/LockedOnNFL. That's linkedin.com/LockedOnNFL to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. Locked On Cardinals, Alex Clancy here. Follow the podcast at Locked On AZ Cards. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel as well. Turn the notifications on so you'll know when a video is being posted if I'm going live. Thanks for hanging out at halftime of Sunday's game on Twitter Spaces and YouTube. I will be doing Twitter Spaces at halftime throughout the entirety of the season as well as YouTube, but I'll only be doing the postgame show on YouTube from now on. The Cardinals are in limbo. And there's added pressure now because not only did Kyler Murray get his massive contract extension, but Kliff Kingsbury and Steve Keim got their contract extensions, neither of which come into play until the start of the 2023 season. So it adds some extra pressure to the clunkiness, to the uncertainty, to the inability to really source what the issues have been. It adds extra pressure. On top of that, Hollywood Brown, injured towards the tail end of the Seattle Seahawks game, was initially reported to be potentially out for the year. Now it seems like he'll only be out for 6 weeks. Good news, best case scenario, would be very unfortunate, tragic in a football terms, not see Hollywood Brown and DeAndre Hopkins on the field at the same time. Because that's what we've all been waiting for. And I will not get into the discussion yet, where if Hollywood Brown isn't healthy for the rest of the year, the Cardinals picked up his fifth-year option. He has the same agent as DK Metcalf, Deebo Samuel, and A.J. Brown, all of whom got contract extensions before their rookie year was up. Now, Hollywood Brown may or may not be on the level of those three guys. Through 5 weeks, up until last week, it seemed like he is in this offense. So there's going to be some uncomfortable conversations about that, hopefully warranted, where Hollywood Brown comes back stronger than ever and the Cardinals make a playoff push. You're hoping for that at this point. DeAndre Hopkins comes back Thursday. He will have a running mate, not named Hollywood Brown. The Cardinals traded a future 6th and 7th round pick for Robbie Anderson. Robbie Anderson has been unhappy in Carolina. He was quoted as saying something not so great about Baker Mayfield before the Panthers traded for him. And he's kind of been an afterthought in the offense as his really the entire passing game. He had a 1,000-yard receiving season 2 years ago, I guess in 2020, where he really balled out. You know, it's like Robbie Anderson showed flashes in New York with the Jets. Sam Darnold, other quarterbacks, but he never really had that consistent quarterback play to really show his true talents. Okay? It's an interesting move by Steve Keim. I understand that you got to trading for a wide receiver. I understand because Hollywood Brown, is going to be out for an extended period of time. Giving up a 6th and 7th round pick, okay, it's just more draft capital that the Cardinals don't have to build young talent for the future. Would they be most likely dart throws in the 6th and 7th round? Maybe, but maybe you could have packaged a 6th round pick and a 4th to move up to the 3rd round or something like that. It's just capital they don't have anymore. And Robbie Anderson has an out of his contract at the end of this season. So it's going to be a rental. I would assume that Robbie Anderson will want that money. So the Cardinals are going to have to figure out what's going on there. It's going to be $13 million in 2023 before he's an unrestricted free agent in 2024. What does it do for right now? It adds a big body on the outside who's really fast. He's really fast. And that's something that the Cardinals could use on the outside, especially as kind of a placeholder for Hollywood Brown being out. Now, What I'm thinking about for the future and what I think about for now are two vastly different things. For now, sure, not a terrible move. Okay. The offensive line is still bad. Justin Pugh also, I should have mentioned, apologies, is out for the year with a torn ACL. So left guard, now an issue. Was an issue and is now a bigger issue because Justin Pugh's out for the year. The offensive line was bad against Seattle on Sunday. Rodney Hudson was out. It's exactly what we saw last year with Rodney Hudson out. Same exact outcome. And the Cardinals did nothing this offseason to shore it up. Will Hernandez has been okay on the right side. Kelvin Beachum and DJ Humphries have been fine. But the offensive line is still a problem. The issue that I have is if Robbie Anderson pans out, okay, and he's going to want his $13 million. Hollywood Brown's going to want his contract. DeAndre Hopkins has an out after this year also. You pick two young receivers or the best of the three because you can't pay all of them because there's got to be money going elsewhere. Pass rush, offensive line, cornerback, linebacker. The Cardinals have an identity crisis right now. And we don't know what's going to happen. It's terrifying. It's exciting, but it's terrifying at the same time. Short term, Robbie Anderson coming in, fine. If Robbie Anderson comes in, Rondale Moore, Hollywood Brown, DeAndre Hopkins, if Kyler Murray has time in the pocket, this offense could be one that could make a push in late December and early January if the Cardinals want to make a playoff run. Okay? That's something that cannot be mistook right now. It's hard to see the forest through the trees right now. But come Thursday, there will be more clarity, one way or the other. As I mentioned, all offseason, the Band-Aid will be ripped off this season. It's not looking great right now, but they're only 6 weeks into the season. It's only a third of the way into the season. And this isn't me being positive for positivity's sake. The NFL, the NFC is bad. The Cardinals are one game out of one game in the loss column out of the top 3 pick, and they're one game in the win column out of being, in a position to make the playoffs. It's too early to tell, but Thursday night, the Cardinals are going to have to win, or we're going to be having very uncomfortable conversations, especially if the offense has the output it did on Sunday with Hollywood Brown healthy. Locked On Cardinals, your team every day. What does it look like for New Orleans coming into town on Thursday Night Football? I'll talk about it next. Locked On Cardinals. First, Prize Picks. I love Prize Picks. You want me to tell you more about them? Cool, because I'm gonna. Prize Picks makes daily fantasy super easy. Download the Prize Picks app or go to prizepicks.com. You choose 2 to 5 players, and you pick more or less than what the prize projection will be for that specific stat. So, say on Thursday night, Kyler Murray over or more or less than 225 passing yards. Pick Kyler Murray, more, less, whatever the price projection is. DeAndre Hopkins, receptions, more, less. Chris Olave, if he plays, more, less, receptions, receiving yards, touchdowns, whatever. PrizePicks.com makes, once again, daily fantasy sports super easy. And it's not just NFL, NBA today. Basketball starts today. Major League Baseball in the playoffs, NHL, PGA, college football, men's college basketball, women's college basketball, soccer, WNBA, etc. They've got you covered at PrizePicks.com. Entries can be made in 60 seconds or less. It's that easy. Safe and fast withdrawals, and currently operational in over 30 states and Canada. Download the PrizePicks app or go to PrizePicks.com right now and play daily fantasy sports. First-time users can receive a 100% instant deposit match up to $100 with promo code Locked On. If you deposit $100, they give you $100. You deposit $50, they give you $50. Don't forget to enter promo code Locked On and sign up for an instant deposit match up to $100. And I love talking about these guys as well. MySolarNerd.com. If you're looking to get into solar and you live in Arizona, these guys have you more than covered, okay? It's very likely that you've had some people stop by offering you free solar, okay? That's not these guys. The truth is that many of these companies aren't local, and because of that, they're using misleading tactics and end up overcharging homeowners. If you've considered solar but something fell off, you're going to love MySolarNerd.com. Their mission is simple. Help you get the best solar system to fit your needs. They're local. They understand the nuances of going solar. They've been doing this for a while and understand that educated customers are happy customers. Their no-pressure approach will make sure all your questions get answered. Once you're ready, they'll put their industry knowledge to work for you by choosing the best equipment, warranties, and Better Business Bureau accredited installers. Our listeners will get a $50 Amazon gift card when they book a no-commitment evaluation. This promotion is only good for our listeners that are homeowners. Keep that in mind. Visit mysolarnerd.com and select Locked On in their How Did You Hear About Us section. Make the switch to solar on your terms. Start your research process by visiting mysolarnerd.com today and show Locked On some love by letting them know we sent you. Folks, going solar doesn't need to be complicated. Mysolar.nerd makes it. Mysolarnerd.com makes it easy. This podcast has been a lot. I know that. I'm the host, Alex Clancy, Locked On Cardinals. Thanks for making Locked On Cardinals your first listen each and every day, free and available on all platforms. This podcast had everything. A letter to the editor, focused solely at Michael Bidwill. Discussion about Hollywood Brown and the ramifications, not only of the injury now, but potentially for the future regarding contract negotiations. Robbie Anderson becoming the newest Arizona Cardinal, coupled with DeAndre Hopkins showing up, ready to roll for Thursday Night Football with his suspension now over. The New Orleans Saints are coming into town. The New Orleans Saints have been an interesting team to watch. This same New Orleans Saints team put up 39 points against the Seattle Seahawks that held the Arizona Cardinals to 3 offensive points. Andy Dalton seems to be taking over that quarterback job. Even if Jameis Winston is healthy, there are reports that that's possible. I'll be chatting with Ross Jackson from Locked On Saints, one of my close buddies here, on Thursday for the crossover Thursday. I will ask him about that. Alvin Kamara is still Alvin Kamara. Michael Thomas has been hobbled. He's been out a few games. Chris Olave is missing time. Taysom Hill has played an integral role in that offense like he normally does. Traquan Smith had a touchdown catch last week. Like, this Saints team, I will tell you, they've got a tough defense, and it's a winning culture in New Orleans. Hasn't always been, but since Drew Brees went over there, since Sean Payton took over, it's been a winning culture more times than it hasn't. Now with Dennis Allen taking over the reins, it's been a little tougher. They've had massive injuries. Not like massive, like season ending, but they've had guys miss time. Alvin Kamara, Michael Thomas, et cetera, et cetera. They've had guys miss time. Jameis Winston, their starters, miss time. But coming in Thursday night, the Arizona Cardinals, if they can put up points and get a victory, it's slowly going to taper off what we're feeling right now as we're watching this team. If the Cardinals can get a W, short week, against a team that they should beat, things could start to pivot elsewhere. Because listen, when it comes down to it, the Niners don't look great. The 49ers don't look great. The Rams don't look great. And Seattle, even though they beat the Cardinals pretty, even though the Cardinals defense gave up only 19 points. If you want a silver lining on what's happening right now, everything being in flux, and there being so many questions surrounding the future of this team, it starts Thursday night. The Cardinals getting a victory Thursday night would take a huge step forward in the positive direction to start to nurse the wounds of what we'd experienced over the last 72 hours or so. Because it's been weird. It's been somewhat unexpected. It's been clunky. Starting Thursday, everything can turn and make a turn for the positive. If they lose, I'll save that for later. Locked On Cardinals, your team every day. Thanks for making Locked On Cardinals your first listen each and every day. Make sure to check out Peacock and Williamson as your second listen. Brian Peacock and Matt Williamson, 30 minutes, national show, national storylines, some of the best we have over here on the Locked On Podcast Network. Check them out. Alex Clancy, Locked On Cardinals. I will talk to you tomorrow.